this is John Cola with DiscountJuicers.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you. We got the juice off you guys have been waiting for. So what we're going to do today is we're going to compare the all-new Slowstar juicer. Runs at 47 RPMs or revolutions per minute, which may just be my new favorite vertical auger juicer, with the Auger VRT400. Now the Auger VRT series of juicers has been my favorite vertical slow running juicer for the longest period of time now. So now we're going to get into comparing each of the machines. The first thing I want to show you guys is actually the height difference. As you guys can see, the Slowstar juicer sits, I don't know, a couple inches taller than the Auger VRT400 machine. The next thing that's very important to me is actually ease of use and things like disassembly and assembly. Now the Auger VRT on one hand is pretty nice because you could just lift it off. I mean, the Auger VRT has gone through several different revisions to make it to where it is today. The Slowstar juicer is in its first revision. I mean, it's brand new out to the market, and maybe over time they'll improve it. But the Auger VRT has been to market for a while and has made several improvements, such as ease of disassembly, like you could just literally lift it off without having to turn anything. On the Slowstar, you actually do need to turn it to open, and you know, it definitely clicks off, and you need to take off the top first, and then you can take off the base, and it comes off like that, which is a little bit more difficult, and you have to line it up and lock it back into place. Another thing that you guys don't see is really nice on the Auger VRT here is that it has a magnetic system that actually you don't see. So if you improperly assemble the machine and try to turn it on, it won't come on. It only comes on if you assemble this properly, due to the magnetic safety system that they have that you never see. Now on the Slowstar juicer, you have a basic pin and switch, much like on your standard food processor. So once again, if it's not properly assembled, it will not come on. I kind of like the high-techness of the Auger VRT on this point. Next, let's go over some of the different parts that comes with both these machines. Of course, we have the augers, and one of the features of the Auger VRT series and the vertical augers that I have used in the past is that literally the auger that you're using is pretty much not needed. So you can literally just toss it away. If you prepare your produce properly, one of the features of the Auger VRT I like so much is that you chop your produce up, it's literally self-feeding. So, you know, one of the things I dislike the most is having to push things in the juicer. I got other stuff to do. You know, I'd rather be chopping stuff up. As I'm chopping, I grab a handful, put it in there, let it work, and, you know, grab something else, put it in there, chopping, and let it work without me having to push each and every piece into the juicer. So with the Slowstar juicer, due to its different design, you will need to use the pusher significantly more often, in my opinion, than on the Auger VRT. And we'll go more into why that is in just a little bit. Let's go ahead and now start taking off the parts inch by inch. And on the tops here, the tops are actually fairly similar. They both have a little funnel area. And if you notice on the Slowstar juicer, the funnel lip is actually not quite as tall. So I like on the Auger VRT, the funnel is a bit taller. In addition, you'll see on the housing here, this has like a nice web style housing. And on the Auger VRT, there's no webbing on it. And I prefer the one on the VRT actually. The webbing, in my opinion, while it may look cool to some, it kind of looks like a spider web, and nobody wants a spider web juicer unless you're Spider-Man. And the other thing that really concerns me is, you know, if you drop juice or pulp or whatever, which is bound to happen because you're juicing, in here, it's going to get harder to clean and get stuff out of the nooks and crannies. You know, it's just going to waste more of your time when having to clean it up. If we turn the pieces over on the bottom, they actually look fairly similar, and there's a little bushing in there that guides where the auger goes. And other than that, you can see the feed chute opening. So the feed chute opening on both these machines are fairly similar. It looks like actually the Auger VRT feed chute opening is just a tad bit larger than that of the Slowstar juicer. So that's the top. The next part to come out is, of course, the workhorse of the machine, and this is where the Slowstar differs a little bit than the Auger VRT here. Let's pull these guys out. Now here are the two different augers. So the auger is the main device that allows the juicer to work properly. If we look at the top of the augers, you'll see that the Omega Vert has a single blade auger, and that's this guy right here. And it's you know, it's not super sharp. How this works is as the produce, you know, gets put in the machine, this thing comes around, this blade comes around and knocks a piece off, and then it kind of puts it in and then compresses it into a smaller and smaller space and literally squeezes the juice out. On the Slowstar juicer, there's actually two blades, which actually are a fair bit sharper, but it's still not sharp enough to cut your finger. So there's actually two of them on here. So this does, you know, a number of things. Number one, when you put produce in there, it's going to get cut off better because there's two blades. Two blades are better than one, some might say. So it's going to cut the pieces up more than the Omega Vert. So maybe you don't have to cut your produce as much with the Slowstar, and that's what they're advertising it as. One of the negatives is, like I just told you, check it out, in the Omega Vert, as you put a produce item in, it gets sucked in, and there's a pretty big sucking in area, and then it gets worked down. Then the auger, you know, goes the full turn around and then accepts more things in. So, you know, there's a lot more time that things could drop down into the machine, so it can be self-feeding. With the Slowstar juicer, you know, something could go in here and then immediately it comes back around, and then something may drop down there, but there's not the amount of time that things could drop in there. I mean, other than that, the auger shape is a little bit different, but that shouldn't really play too much of a part. If we turn the auger over, you can see the Omega Vert has a little like kind of teeth in here that help turn the wiping blade system. And on the Slowstar, there is no such device because there's a different motor drive for the wiping blade, independent of the motor spinning. And on the Slowstar, this is actually recessed a lot more in the bottom of the blade design, just a little bit different. But, you know, for all practical purposes, the blades are pretty similar. They're about the same height. Next, let's go ahead and remove the screens off both machines. This is where they also differ a little bit. You can see the screen heights are significantly different. The Slowstar juicer screen is a lot taller than the Omega Vert screen is. Another thing I'm seeing that's a little bit different is that the Slowstar actually kind of has three distinct levels or different hole sizes, whereas the Omega Vert has two distinct hole sizes. And to me, my untrained eye, looks like the Slowstar juicer holes are just a little bit smaller, so this may let a little less pulp in your juice. And it looks like there's more screen area on the Slowstar juicer, which may mean you're going to get a higher yield, but also means you have more screen area to clean, and the screen is the hardest thing to clean on any juicer. Also, it looks to me that the Slowstar screen has a lot more nooks and crannies. So there's this like recessed area here that pulp may get stuck into, and you're going to have to wipe down. And of course, the screen area is a lot more. Now, both these screens are made out of the GE Ultimate material that's 8 times harder than screens on other juicers. And so they're really durable, and these are both parts covered under the warranty when used, you know, for juicing and other approved uses. So now let's go ahead and compare the bowls, which is the main part of the machine. Once again, on the Slowstar, we need to rotate it to take it off. On the Vert, we just pull it off. Really simple, really easy. Now these are pretty much very similar. The first main difference I want to show you guys is the Omega Vert has a new stopper plug, and this is actually very useful. This allows you to actually do mixing inside the bowl, which will mix up to about 300 milliliters, and also it makes cleanup easier so it doesn't drip on your counter when you're done. So I do like this feature, and that's one feature the Slowstar does not have. One of the things both machines have are a little flap here. So this flap actually is in a horizontal orientation on the Omega Vert. And what this flap's job is to do is to basically keep the back pressure, keep some pulp in the machine to allow it to fully press and squeeze out the juice. So this one has it, but on the Slowstar, it does also have that pulp flap, but instead of being in a horizontal orientation, it's more in a vertical orientation. And it seems to be significantly thicker, so this may also affect the yield. It may lead to higher yields, but it also may lead to more clogging if there is not enough pressure on this to let the pulp go through, so it'll stay stuck in the juicer instead of flowing out. Let's see, one of the other main differences is number one, you got all this, the handle on this guy, and there's no handle on this guy. And you also have all the different apparatus in here for the safety switch. You know, and if you are washing this, you can get water stuck in this little area, and there's no way to really be able to get it to dry evenly, so you may end up with some watermarks in there like I have. Let's see, another thing that I want to mention is the outlet port here. The outlet ports, let's see, on both machines, actually the Slowstar looks like it has a larger area where the pulp can flow out, so this may mean it's going to get clogged less. Although, let's see, both juicers actually have a fairly large area where the pulp actually flows out. Now, this is the latest revision on the Omega VRT400. The older Verts have a smaller area where the pulp comes out, so that may lead to a little bit more clogging. Let's see. Oh, the other thing that I really want to mention is how far the auger sits off the base where all the juice flows out. Now, that's significantly sitting higher on the Slowstar, which may mean you'll get less center leakage, although both these silicone gaskets on both machines look like they're triple protected, so it's going to, you know, be fairly good at keeping all the juice inside the machine and not spilling out on the top of your motor body. I guess if we're looking at where the juice comes out on both machines, the area where the juice comes out on the Omega Vert is significantly larger, and they both have a safety tab so that kids cannot stick their fingers back up through that and into the machine. And so this, on the Omega Vert, it will be easier to clean because it is a lot larger passageway, and on the Slowstar, it's a lot smaller and, you know, maybe harder to get a cleaning device in there to clean it out. So now we're going to reassemble both the machines. The first step is you always want to make sure that little flap is all the way pushed in firmly. This will leave the most pressure, back pressure, against the produce to assure you the highest yield. So once we do that, we're going to go ahead and just simply set the bowl on top of the Omega VRT400, which is really easy. It kind of like locks into place without you having to do anything, and I like that a lot. Once again, on the Slowstar, we got to put that tab in there. Once again, this goes at kind of a vertical angle instead of horizontally, so we're going to push that in. It's more like a little gate, actually. And then on this guy, we're going to put this down and rotate it and lock it into place. Once we got it locked into place, then we do step 2. We're going to go ahead and take the wiping blade and the screen. They just go in just like that, and then there's a little white dot on top of the Slowstar, and you're going to correspond that with a dot on top of the bowl, and you're going to just put this in to line it up, and then it'll kind of like lock into place. Same thing on the Omega Vert. You're going to take your wiping blade, put that into the screen. On the Omega Vert, there's a little arrow. You're going to line up this little white arrow with the arrow on the juicer right here where it says open, and then it locks into place. Finally, we're going to take the auger on the Omega Vert, drop that guy in there, and this, you will kind of rotate it, and it'll actually seat down in there. Same thing on the Slowstar. Just drops it up there, and it's going to just lock into place. Very simple, very easy. Last step, we're going to take the top, and once again on the top of the Omega Vert, there's a little white arrow. We're going to line that up with the white arrow on the screen here. Then you're going to kind of rotate it, and it just locks into place, and you're all ready to juice in the Omega Vert. Lastly, on the Slowstar, there's a little red dot here, and it says close and open. You want to align that red dot with that white dot on the juicing screen on the bowl as well. Put that in, and then you're going to rotate it to close, and then you're all ready to juice. So now let's compare the collection cups on both machines. The Omega Vert comes with 2 collection cups, and these are BPA free. Graduated up to 32 ounces, or about 4 cups. The smaller one is for catching the juice, which goes on this side, and the larger one is for catching the pulp, which goes over on this side. Now, the Omega VRT400 does come with a straining screen that they do include, and this is it right here. It's a specifically designed straining screen for the Omega VRT400. Goes on the collection cup right like that, and you could set this underneath here to take some of the excess pulp out of the juice. Over on the Slowstar juicer, it also comes with 2 collection cups, and they are actually identical. So unlike the Vert, which has a little bit larger one for the pulp catch, these are the same exact size, and these are graduated up to about 800 milliliter, but they will go up to about 1,000 milliliter, which is about, once again, 32 ounces or so. So this one kind of goes for the juice, and this one on this side comes out for the pulp. In addition, the Slowstar actually includes a nice stainless steel strainer, a lot higher quality than the plastic one included on the Vert here, and all stainless steel. And I want to note the hole size. So the hole size on the Vert strainer is actually fairly large compared to the really fine hole size on the strainer of the Slowstar. Now on the Slowstar juicer, what you can do is just place this literally on top of the collection cup, so as the juice comes out it gets strained out, and you may have to shake it down over time, and you will also have to do that on the Omega Vert. Let's more talk about some of the differences that you're not seeing with these two machines. Number one is the RPMs, or revolutions per minute, or how fast these juicers spin. These are both slow RPM juicers, and when I mean slow, they're under 100 RPMs. Over on this side, the Omega Vert is 80 RPMs, or revolutions per minute, so that's pretty much accepted as a standard for slow juicers. But the Slowstar juicer, I mean, it's called the Slowstar, takes it one step further, knocks it down to 47 RPM, or revolutions per minute. In general, the lower RPM may mean higher quality of juice due to less oxidation and oxygen being introduced into the juice. And that's the number one reason why I rarely, if ever, use the high-speed centrifugal ejection juicers. Number one, they're really loud on the ears. And number two, they interject more oxygen into the juice, which causes more oxidation, which means your nutrients are literally being vaporized, and you're not going to be able to ingest them into you. Some of the tests I have seen comparing the slow juice compared to the high-speed juice shows that a slow juice may contain 50% or more of certain nutrients than the high-speed juicers create. So for that reason, I pretty much use the slow juicers in my kitchen. Of course, every juicer has its pros and cons. Even with the high-speed juicers, they're actually pretty good at juicing things like carrots, and these juicers, while they will juice carrots, the high-speed juicers will get a bit higher yield. But in my opinion, the nutrition created in these juicers, even with a little bit less yield, is far more beneficial to me, and that's why I like these guys. In addition, of course, the centrifugal ejections are really fast, and these guys are slow juicers, so you got to figure out if you want to take some time and have a higher quality juice, or if you want things fast and easy and be able to drink some juice instead of not drinking it because you maybe wouldn't invest the time. That being said, if you're serious about your health, I recommend a slow juicer over the high-speed units at all costs. So another thing besides that you guys are not seeing is the warranty. The warranty is 15 years on the Omega VRT400, which is the longest warranty in the juicing industry. That's really good. It's backed up by Omega, that's been in business in the US for a long time, longer than the Tribest company that makes the Slowstar juicer. But the Slowstar juicer definitely has a good warranty. It has a 10-year warranty, which is at least 10 times as long as some of the other juicers on the market that have a shorter warranty. I mean, some juicers have a 90-day or even 1-year warranty. So 10 years is definitely a good length of time for the warranty. And once again, both these machines are probably like the last juicers you guys are going to have to buy, because they're just literally going to last a long time, and they're warranted for such a long time. I mean, imagine buying a car with a 10 or 15-year warranty and really not having to buy a car again. I mean, that's great, right? And they should do that, but they don't. But these guys, it's pretty much a one-time investment. And once again, for me, juicing is the #1 investment you can make in your health. Your health is your greatest wealth. I mean, that's a saying that you guys may have heard, but I really strive to take that to heart because I almost lost my life when I was younger. And I learned that only through eating a proper diet with containing lots of fruits and vegetables, I can be healthier and won't be back in the hospital again where the doctors may tell me, John, you might not make it out alive. So, by investing in a juicer, and more importantly, besides investing in it, using it every day, you're going to be able to get the benefits you want, whether they're weight loss, whether they're, increase in energy, mental clarity, increase in athletic performance. Eating fruits and vegetables will definitely do that, more so than eating the junk foods and the highly processed foods and the, overabundance of animal products that are now being eaten in America today. We need to get back to those fruits and vegetables and eat more of them, and that's why I think the juicers are so beneficial. Next, let's talk about another thing for people that are interested in their health is the BPA status. I mean, the Slowstar juicer claims that certain parts are BPA free, and the auger and the screen are virtually BPA free. On the other hand, Omega makes no specific claims regarding this. That being said, I can say that, you know, just like the Slowstar, the Omega should have the same status. The auger and the screen should be virtually BPA free, and some of the other parts are BPA free, but they don't advertise this anywhere, and this is, of course, my own opinions on the subject based on researching this. I do want to warn the customers out there that some other companies have been advertising their machines as 100% BPA free, which in my opinion is not legitimate, because legitimately it may contain BPA, and some of the companies that have advertised their machines as 100% BPA free, I've asked them for documentation and proof to show this many times, and they have never been able to provide any proof for me. So I like that Trivest is taking a position that they're being, you know, forward and upfront with people and telling you guys like it is. Now for me, I feel comfortable using both these juicers in my kitchen to basically extract the nutrition out of the fruits and vegetables. I feel due to the pretty much no heat, or, you know, these are cold pressed juicers, there's no heat being involved, due to the temperature of the produce you're juicing, and due to the minimal contact time with the plastic parts, you know, I feel safe using both these appliances in my kitchen. I would be more concerned about buying some bottled water at the store that's been sitting in the bottle for months, maybe even years before you drink it, because that, you know, has time to leach things in. I mean, literally you put the produce in, it comes out just seconds later. So I personally don't believe this is a big problem. Now another difference between the Omega VRT400 and the Slowstar juicer is this one. And actually this one's fairly big. It's what I got in my hand right here. This is actually called the mincing attachment, is what the Trivest company calls it. I would call this your nut butter and frozen banana sorbet or raw vegan ice cream maker. And this is a special attachment included in the price of the Slowstar juicer. That's totally amazing. And the Slowstar juicer is currently about $50 less than the Omega VRT400 juicer. So this gives you a much greater flexibility with the Slowstar. Not only can you juice in it, but you can also use this processor to make things like nut pâtés, to make frozen banana ice cream, to make your own nut butters, to make breadsticks, and to make raw vegan breads in the Slowstar. While you can make some of these things in the Omega Vert, like the frozen banana sorbet, the nut butters, and nut milks, which you can also do in the Slowstar, it's not specifically designed for that. And if you do those functions, you need to make sure you watch my videos on how to do it properly, or else you may damage the machine. For that reason, if this is one of your important criteria, I definitely recommend going with the Slowstar juicer that has this attachment so that you can do it safely, effectively, and more importantly, under warranty. So if this part should break, it will be covered under warranty if you're using it properly. So that's definitely another point to consider. There's more flexibility with the Slowstar than with the Omega VRT400 over here. So before we get into the juice off, there's one last thing that's important for me to mention, is the power of the motors, and specifically the design of the juicers. I mean, the motor drives the juicer and it allows it to function. So over on the Omega Vert, we got a 150 watt motor, and basically with gear reduction, it's approximately about 4 horsepower of torque, when the juicer's running. Over on the Slowstar, they're claiming it's a 200 watt motor, and with the triple gear reduction system, they're getting about 9 horsepower, so about double the horsepower or torque specifically at the auger, so that may juice things better and chop things more effectively. Sometimes more is not better. To me, what's really important is how the machine works. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode learning more about the Omega VRT400 and the Trivest Slowstar juicer. Once again, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors. Next, we're going to go ahead and pour in the juice from the Slowstar through the strainer. John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Today I have another exciting episode for you. Today's episode is like me being in a candy store when I was a kid. I no longer eat candy. but a kid in a candy store is like, wow, they're so excited. And I'm really excited today to share this brand new juicer with you. It's actually made by Tribest. It's called the Slowstar juicer, and Tribest makes other juicers such as the Green Star juicer, the Green Star Elite juicer. They've also brought you the Solo Star juicer, the manual hand